show you it is me. This is part 6, Shasta Expedition. Around Mount Baker over there. So Bigfoot, Sasquatch, if you go on YouTube, I mean, there are a million channels, you know what, and almost all of them are garbage. It's like the Inquirer magazine, you know, sensationalism, you know, ratings, crap, Alaska this, Utah that, Rocky this, etc., etc., etc. They might, oh look, is this a track? Oh, it might be. Was that a wood knock? Yeah, maybe. Just crap. There's a couple of researchers out there, and one of them whom I just talked to, and a few others. Again, I'm not going to name names. If you know anything about the Bigfoot community area, then you'll know the few true scientists and researchers I'm talking about. Besides those few, all the others just, you know, you got 12 fat guys in orange vests stomping around at woods at night. Do you think they're going to, you know, you think Bigfoot is interested in them or bacon? Are they going to be interested in someone that's incredibly quiet, makes no noise, and draws them in? Now, there's a couple of researchers that do just that. One of them is quite the survivor man, and I'll leave that hint at that. Another good friend of mine who I've been talking to, who is on the edge of the community somewhat in paranormal stuff in general, but I've been talking to him quite a bit about what I have experienced, and because when word gets out, because when you'll either be ridiculed or championed, above all, you be scrutinized. And the evidence I have, and I start showing it, and I have a lot of evidence, could be followed, you know. Incredibly jealous, weird community, and the stuff that I found, and I think I would continue to find, including visual and more secure audio, if I go back up there. Even now with the stuff I have, the tracks, that I would leapfrog over almost all these other idiots up until that frontier of true hotspots. And the person I talked to, the famous researcher I talked to a few days ago, he agrees there's a couple of hotspots out there, and this would probably fall into that grouping. And it seems to be interacting with me and remembers me. And I want to go back up. My friends in LA are maybe trying to find a cameraman to go back up with me. Someone I could trust and do what I tell them to do. Meaning the outdoor thing, you know. How to look for signs and how to be quiet, what to listen for. So we're not quite sure what we're going to do, except we're going to do something with what I videoed and come across and photographed and talked about and experienced. So if you want to be a part of this, my Patreon account, I'll continue putting up artwork in my spring shows, what I talked about in part 5. New artwork I'm creating and have been creating. But also I need support to go back up there. Gas and supplies to go down there and back up in the wintertime. Wouldn't be much. If you want to be involved, to be credited in the film or book to come, to be privy to video and footage that will only be on the Patreon account. Most of the stuff will only be on the Patreon account. We'll be asking across social media and other platforms. Now, you can believe me or not. My close friends who have seen all the, or not all of it, but seen the prime videos and footage and pics that I've taken and listened to me talk about it, believe me. It really happened. It really happened. It was in camp it could have been within 10 feet of me. Well, hell, it was. That's where the track was, and looked right in at me while I slept, probably, if you can imagine that. So you want to help me continue this journey, dangerous journey, I might add the romanticism to it, or just to see how stupid I am if I get myself killed, or if I get a visual, something to rival the Patterson-Gimlin film, and just add evidence. They're real. I think they need to be protected. And if this helps do that, maybe my natural resources degree will come in handy. So go to my Patreon account, put in a couple bucks a month, tell your friend, share it, look at the photos, listen to me and my friend and the videos, hours of them. Make your own choice. We're not going to put it all up at once, of course. It'll be over several months. But for $5 a month, you'll get your penny's worth. And I think you'll be just as scared as we were. And as, not confused, as, you know, when it sinks in that these things are real, that they're in the world, that they're just, you know, a ridge line away from your campground, maybe. It makes you rethink things a little bit. Do I think the government knows about them? I do. Were bodies put off Mount St. Helens after the volcanic eruption? Supposedly. Do you think they don't want it known to hurt the economy? Would people still go camp and go out into the woods, especially up here in the Pacific Northwest, if they were officially, you know, announced that they were real? What would that do to the outdoor industry? Or would idiots start stomping around even more than they are now? This thing goes public. It'll change my world. Above all, you know, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because I want to know more. Leslie said I felt compelled. She brought up an analogy of the scene in Close Encounters of the Third Kind where Richard Dreyfuss is making mashed potatoes. On his dining room table of the Devil's Tower. He feels compelled to know more, to find out what's going on, to go to this place. Now this all might sound tacky, cliche, or whatever. I don't care. But I most definitely feel compelled to go back down there to Northern California and go up to this place. And see what happens next. Because every time I go up, the stakes seem to go higher. And go on YouTube and look at all the channels and see what they're talking about. Even go to some of their so-called Patreon channels, pages, or even look at their scant evidence that some of these so-called shows have. But go check out what I've been gathering, what we've gathered, and maybe help me continue that search. Thanks. Halloween, October 31st, 2023. Shasta Expedition.